And we are off. Episode 3, Pick Up Your Pace podcast. We missed last week. Hand up, that's on me as a captain. I can't let that happen. Me and Chip went out. We had a little too many drinks. Slipped our mind to record Friday night. What are you going to do? Won't happen again. We're back. It's all right, though. We got back-to-back races. This kind of feels like 2020. If you guys didn't watch last year, pretty much every race was back-to-back. The longest we would get is 2 weeks. So these first couple weeks where we have 2 or 3 weeks in between has been pretty tough. So it's nice. It's nice to get 7 days in between a race again.
Got some consistency, finally.
Yep. So we'll wrap up with Portugal. I was on the golf course, still managed to watch the race. I guess we'll start off with Lewis winning. None of us wanted to see Lewis win, but he won. He was fairly dominant throughout the race. It wasn't like last year where he'd get ahead in like 5 laps and then it was just lights out. There was no chance anyone was going to catch him. He would put seconds behind Max. It wasn't like that. He had to pass Max. He had to pass Valtteri, but still overall pretty dominant performance.
Yeah, he ripped it. I mean, it was like a 2020 race, like you said, except it was a lot closer up front. We had a bit of a battle, but stacked Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull, or Mercedes, Red Bull, Mercedes, Red Bull. I think the Red Bull strategy could have been better, but yeah, Lewis did some great driving. He did 2 quick overtakes. He looked fast out there. He looked a lot more comfortable than the second and third place finishes. So hats off to Lewis. He's a good ass driver. I like how Max said he trusts the battle that he's able to have with Lewis because they're able to safely push their limits without, like, I don't know, in the 90s when Senna and Prost are wiping each other out for championship points. So I don't know, clean racing. He's a dominant dude.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. I mean, if anything, this season in particular is so interesting because of how close this has been between Red Bull and Mercedes. I mean, it's like watching a tennis match each week between, Lewis and Max. But I mean, last week, with a few of the overtakes that Lewis had, and now that the pressure is being put on him, I think it's even more. It's more validation for just Lewis being a man amongst boys out there. I mean, you can even see Max, like, he's driving his ass off, pedal to the fucking metal, and Lewis, I mean, Lewis still makes it look easy for everyone except Max, it seems like. So I don't know. Once again, we're doing a Groundhog Day thing here with Lewis once again on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And speaking of Max, I mean, he was still able to squeeze out P2. I mean, from what I watched at the start of the race, I never really felt in my gut that he was going to be able to pull it away. And it didn't really feel like that all weekend. I mean,
No.
Friday didn't go well for Red Bull. Saturday, they kind of got it together. And then Sunday, I mean, he could have had pole, but he exceeded track limits. So he didn't look comfortable on the track completely like we had seen him, especially the week before in weeks prior. So, I think it was good for what he had. Anything other than a P2 would have really stunk. We want to keep that race as close as possible. So hopefully he's able to get one next week. But yeah, never really looked like he was at 100%, more like 90, 95.
Yeah, They got to get that car going, man. The only limitation Max has this season is that car. And the engineers, he was complaining about vibrations all weekend. Thing was shimmying on him all weekend. Same thing with Checo. So, I don't know. If those two are in a car that's reliable, it's pretty clear, what they can do. So I don't know.
Yeah. One guy who hasn't been complaining, Sir Lando Norris.
Yeah.
Every damn week. I saw a stat today. Finishing the points 8 straight races combined with last year. Top 5 in each of the first 3 races of the season. P7 and P5. Even if he screws up in qual, he still ends up in top 5. I mean, it's clear he's legit. I don't think we're going to see a drop-off in performance. If anything, he's just going to keep getting better throughout the season. Maybe he starts pushing Checo in the Red Bull once he just keeps getting this comfortable with that car, which seems like it's McLaren's best car in probably a decade, maybe longer.
Yeah, I mean, that kid, I think he's going to be future champion one day. Maybe not over the next 3-4 years, but one day, because he looks so damn good in that car that Daniel Ricciardo is struggling with. I know he's more comfortable with it just because of experience, but damn, that kid can drive.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't, again, I don't have much to add to that. Like, if anything, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but it's not making Daniel look good. I'll tell you that much. I mean, because clearly they're being given the same freaking car, and there's a lot of high hopes for Daniel this season. But no, Lando's been beyond impressive. Like, it's been really, really fun to watch him. I think my opinion, the driver 3 on the year by far. I mean, yeah, points are showing that, but like, it's just in terms of the eye test alone, it's pretty clear that this kid is dominant. So, and he's young, man. He's got so many years to go here. It's like, this is, it's going to be very fun to watch.
Yep. Another young gun that's been pretty consistent this year, Charles. I still don't think that Ferrari car is like up to speed. So what he's been able to pull out of it's been pretty impressive. I mean, Carlos hasn't been able to figure it out. We'll get to that, but Charles, I think, is just a guy you can count on to try and get the most out of a car that I don't really think is going to give him the ability to compete with McLaren, but he's going to surprise you some races. And I don't think he's not going to disappoint you. I think you can see his age and his experience kind of coming through this year, not making a lot of the same mistakes he has and being a little bit crazy and hectic in the past few years.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely more comfortable than Carlos is in that car. It's definitely a lot better than last year, but I mean, that's not a world champion Ferrari pace. Like, you need a faster car. That's Ferrari's supposed to be winning champions. Like, they're not even close. So I agree. They're going to be battling with McLaren for that mid pack. They can probably beat him a few races as long as Charles shows it and Carlos shows up. But yeah, not much there.
No, yeah, they keep coming close, man. Every single race so far has looked like, oh, is Ferrari's Charles in particular going to do it this time? Is he going to be able to pull it off this time? Someone gets the DRS on him and then it's over. It's like, I don't understand really what's going on. Again, it seems like a car issue. Like, who said it's faster than last year? For sure. I know we all know that, but like, still not doing it. I mean, this is Ferrari. So, they got to step it up.
Yeah. And along with Ferrari and stepping it up, Carlos got to step it up, man. I really thought after last week he was starting to figure it out, and then we just take a huge step back. Yeah, not good. Not good for him to be outside of top 10, especially in Portugal. He better not do that this week, man, in Spain. I'll tell you that. That'll be a really bad look.
He won't. And, it's going to be all eyes on him and Alonso, the Spanish drivers driving in Spain. And you know what, Carlos, he said he's not a Sunday driver. He's a race guy. So I think he's going to show up to his home race, and I think he's going to bounce back. So I'm hopeful. I think we're going to see some high points out of him, maybe fighting for a little P6 spot. Who knows?
Yeah, man. He's done it before. I mean, every time he gets into Spain, he seems to pull something off. So, his new car theoretically should be a better car. So, we'll see. I mean, he's had a tendency to make every car he's been in his career look pretty damn fast. So, hopefully once he figures this thing out, but at the same time, though, same thing with Daniel, they don't have many more races left before the excuse of like, oh yeah, just give them another race. They'll be able to figure it out. There's not too many more of those left. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to start figuring it out.
Yep, I would say they have 2 to 3 more races, and even more so Daniel than Carlos. Carlos has picked it up a little bit. The last week, I think, might have just been an anomaly. Daniel just looks lost in that car. Like, it's really bad, and it's super disappointing. It sucks. We were hyping him up last week, and just a huge letdown for him not to make Q2. I know he would say it's unacceptable. I don't think since we started watching F1, I've ever seen that happen. So wild.
Good. It seemed like he had never seen it happen. I mean, I don't know if you saw that interview after qual. He was speechless. He's like, honestly, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm just speechless. It sucked.
I hate how they have to interview him after that. Like, leave the guy alone.
Oh,
let him walk away.
I know.
That sucks. That's brutal.
Yeah, and then last thing we'll touch on for Portugal, Alpine was super quick, which kind of like came out of nowhere for me. Like, they've been showing decent pace throughout the year, but for them to go P7, P8 stats, like
Yeah,
crap,
man.
because
Ocon's
I
looking
think,
fast.
yeah, so in reality, like they're not going to compete with McLaren, but like, are they going to be able to like be right on Ferrari, kind of like nipping them in the butt all season? Like,
I mean,
maybe it depends on Carlos. Like Charles can fight him off, but if
Yep.
Carlos doesn't figure out that car and those three, him, Fernando, and Ocon are just swapping spots, kind of, then it could get kind of hairy for Ferrari.
points that up. Points that up. Last year, Renault,
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel had a good run, and that's why Renault was mainly in the points, but Ocon's still comfortable in that car. It's not too different from last year. And I mean, even though Fernando Alonso's a grumpy old man, he's a Ferrari, he's a championship. He won. He won a championship. So I mean, no slouch on that man. He could eventually get there. There's still 20 more races this season. I mean, if they're consistently in the points like that, who knows? They could be fighting for number 4.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I just don't see that happening. Like the way I think this is going to go is Sainz go. I mean, and again, I don't really have much to back up Sainz, especially last week, but like, I don't see Ferrari and Alpine battling it out for that 4th spot. Like, I think Sainz is going to figure this out. Like, and Ferrari in a few races is going to start to pull away. Right now, there's really nothing to back that up. But like, I will be shocked if we're at the end of this season saying, "Oh, we got a 8-point spread for 3rd place or 4th place rather between Ferrari and Alpine." That would just be mind blowing. Maybe it could happen.
I hope you're right.
Now it's not good, but that would just be, it'd be insane.
It'd be bad for
I hope
Ferrari.
you're right.
No.
Very
Yeah,
bad.
I'm rooting for a Ferrari hard, but we'll see. Alpine looks quick. All right, we'll hop into Spain. So I just checked the odds. Looks like Lewis is favored, not by much. We got Lewis minus 140, Max at even odds. I think that's just recency bias.
Mm-hmm.
The eye test would tell me that's probably about correct, but the way the season's going, like, I think we might just go back and forth on a lot of these races.
It's exactly what's going to happen. It's literally going to be a tennis match all season between. And I'd just like to put this out there right now. This is becoming a top 3 rivalry in sports, man. Like currently in 2021, I don't care if you're a freaking golf person or football person or anybody. What's happening between Lewis and Max right now is just fun as shit to watch. I'm sorry. It's a great rivalry between the two of them. That's especially this 2021 season. I'm putting
Clip
that
it
out right now. Top
Clip
3.
it, hashtag fire emoji. That's a hot take from Chip. I love it.
Yeah. It's a good take.
Right now.
It's a good take.
Yeah, I mean, tell me a more entertaining right now in sports. I mean, I know that, like, I don't even mean active sports being played right now. So let's say you could take the football season or anything. What's more fun than watching these two guys go head to head each week? I mean, it's becoming an awesome race. It's so close each time. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I like that it's that kind of one-on-one deal. It's not teams, so we get that aspect of it. I don't think we've had that in a major sport in a while. Maybe I'm spacing on it, but that kind of one greatness, like you have like Federer, Nadal, stuff like that.
Yeah, Woods
like,
and Phil, like Nicholson.
Yeah, and
Woods,
it's been a while since
all
we've had
that
Woods
kind of
and Phil
stuff.
in their prime. So
Right.
Yeah. All right, I can get down with it. I want to just ask you guys about the midfield and if we think things start to kind of get solidified in the next few weeks here. Like, is it going to be like last year where everything's kind of bunched up 3 through 5? Or are like some teams going to start pulling away? I think McLaren is kind of obvious, and we kind of touched on this, but like, what teams do we think could be there, or do we think like in the next few weeks we kind of start to see what it's going to look like throughout the season?
It really all depends on McLaren. I mean, if Daniel doesn't end up picking up his slack and Ferrari, Alpine, those other midfield teams start looking good, I mean, Lando can't put constructors points on his back like that. Not consistently. I mean, he'll consistently score, but unless you're consistently getting the the third, the fourth. Like that's just not going to add up. I'd be interested to see what happens with AlphaTauri. I mean, Pierre's
I
been
was just thinking
consistently
that.
in the
completely
ports.
agree.
He's doing good. If Yuki starts to kind of get it, I mean, he's new to Formula One. He's new to this level of racing. Formula Two and Formula Three, everybody has the same car, so he's learning how to overtake. He's learning how to drive aggressively, drive safe. I mean, give the kid a few more races, and AlphaTauri could be up there in that top four, top five constructor talk, and I like that. I like new teams up there competing for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I think
oh, sorry, Cal, go ahead.
the 5-6 battle is going to be really fun. The 3-4 battle, I feel like they'll be a little bit distanced towards the end of the season in
Yeah.
that, but then I think the 5-6 battle could be really tight.
Yeah, I was gonna say with that 5-6 battle, I mean, and he's doing it literally. You want to talk about putting the team on your back? I'm gonna watch Williams with George Russell too. I mean, like,
Cool.
I know he's been like, and I'm not saying, I just say, at least from an individual driver perspective, dude, he's looking fast. Like, I mean, he's been fast as hell last week. He was, performing great. I think he finished 11th last week or 10th. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not necessarily putting them in that like 6th spot, like, I don't think that that's realistic, but I mean, I would not be surprised at all if we're seeing, Williams at least a few races getting points this season. First time in a long time for them. I don't know. I mean, I think Latifi's just blowing it, but like I just think that he stinks. But I don't know. That's one in terms of an individual. I think he's been very, very interesting to watch too.
I really hope we get George out of that car going into next year.
He's so damn good,
shame.
man.
He's good.
Yeah. New team.
Yep. And I guess a little last tidbit, we might get some weather for this one. They teased that last week. It ended up being clear, but it seems like we could get some rain last week. So. Windy, which doesn't really bode well for some teams. I don't really know who. Red Bull didn't do too well with the win last week, so I don't like to hear that.
All over the place.
Good rain race though. Carlos
rain races
nice
are awesome.
in the rain.
Yeah, dude.
I like
Carlos loves the rain.
That'd be great.
Hell yeah.
At home in Spain, a little
very
rain
good
race
point.
action, bounce back.
Oh,
that'd be great. Entertaining as hell.
Love that. Yep, that would be phenomenal. Pray for rain.
Yep. And in the layoff, we had some news come out. Good stuff. Some stuff that I don't really have too much of a take on. One being no more Canada. They replaced it with Turkey. I mean, Canada, get your shit together, man. We're a year into this thing. Figure it out. Canada,
it's so stupid, dude. It just makes me mad.
We got 20 other countries that are figuring it out. Figure it out. Figure it out. Me and Chip just bought tickets to Austin. We're 200 miles away from people in Montreal. Why can we go down to a race and they can't? Stupid.
No, it's sad, man. Like, unfortunately, I mean, Australia kind of pulled the same thing, but I don't know, man. At some point, they're going to start having to get with the times here and just get these things open. I know it's not the most popular opinion to some people, but like, listen, these things have got to start progressing and opening. It's just
I don't think there would be fans, so it just seems like Canada's just being a stickler about it. 20 other countries made it happen, so make the race happen, man.
And now where'd you say it's Turkey, right? And they're now going to
Turkey. It's gonna be in Turkey.
Yeah, Istanbul.
Yep.
Well, all right. Maybe next year.
And then this is cool. We got sprint races, which. If you kept up with last year's storylines, they kind of teased it. I think they do it in F2. I think they might have tried it in F2 last year. That probably was the impetus for this. Like, once they saw that it worked and it was exciting, they decided to pull a trigger on it. We got 3 races, 2 of which are confirmed. So Silverstone and Monza, which are 2 historic tracks. I was very surprised that they would be willing to do that at these races. That you think they would probably just want to do things same old, be traditional with 2 of the biggest weekends of the year. But no, they're going to give us essentially qual on Friday, sprint race on Saturday. It's about a third the length of a regular race, so it'll be about a half hour. And then when you end there, you go into Sunday, and then we get a full race. So I think it's going to be really cool. I wish it was the weekend where racing was at 1. So we got, for us, out of the East Coast of the United States, so we got back-to-back Saturday, Sunday of 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock races. That would be unbelievable, but it'll still be a nice way to wake up, and it's going to be really exciting to see how this works, and it might be something that they implement a lot more moving forward.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's kind of like a fan service thing because, like, if you're going, you're traveling, you're getting a 3-day pass like you guys are doing. It's like a fan service. There's something exciting to watch every day. You don't show up to the first day and have, free practices. You're seeing them go, but you're not seeing them go flat out for a position. Like, you're going for 3 days of flat out. I think it's super cool. I hope it works, and I hope it just produces some exciting racing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think from a fan's perspective, this is it's an amazing choice for F1. I just think it just adds the excitement of it. Kel, I know you and I talked about it a little bit last week. If I was a constructor, I'd be a little nervous, to be honest. I mean, like, these sprints, at least in F2, have lent themselves to, more crashes, more stuff like that, cars getting damaged and stuff like that. Again, I think from a fan's perspective, it's awesome. It's certainly going to, increase viewership, hopefully over time because of it. It's definitely more exciting. But one thing to point out, I think it's a valid thing, is like, yeah, what are the constructors going to have to possibly worry about a couple more crashes and wrecks throughout the season if all the races switch over to this ultimately. But again, overall, I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's something that they, with their current budget, Mercedes can handle it, but if they could handle that many crashes, 22 weekends doing this throughout the year would be a lot.
Exactly.
But we'll see. And then another really, really cool story, Toto Wolff going ahead, giving Romain Grosjean the send-off that he deserves in the 2020, or was it the 2019? One of Lewis, I think it was last year's car.
I think it was
Lewis's
last year's car.
Yeah, it was last year's.
He kind of hinted at this right when Romain had gone to the hospital, and I saw a quote. Romain said that he was actually in the hospital, saw him say this on TV. Ears perked up, and now he gets to go and do it. He's in IndyCar, so it'll be a really cool thing, man. As soon as this popped up on my feed, I was pumped to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the dude. I mean, he definitely deserves it. He didn't have the best exit, and he's a vet. I mean, he was on Lotus for a long time. He had a long Formula One career. He didn't really have the highest scoring or placing, but it's kind of like he had a thing against these older drivers sticking around past their time. Like, and we do see it, the Alonsos. I mean, I'm not going to say Seb, but there have been some other old guys that just wouldn't give up their seat. And it kind of takes away from some young shining stars. And I mean, I think Romain would have been really good. And I think he's even going to be wicked fast in that Mercedes car. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing that Toto's doing. And I think it's just some good closure for Romain.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, Toto Wolff stock in my mind just freaking climbed like crazy. I love it. I mean, listen, I've been a Toto fan, but like, I thought that was such a cool move on his part. Like, especially having that to retire after that Bahrain race is just crazy. I mean, it sucks to end your career like that. So I think it's a really cool thing for him to, I think he was quoted as saying, like, we wanted to give him, a championship car for his last day, his last race. And so, even if it's just practice, right? I think he's just practicing. Testing. So it's awesome, dude. Give him a day.
He might have actually done it today, to be honest, or to like early tomorrow when we're not even up. Yeah.
They're doing it the weekend of the French Grand Prix.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think in a couple of weeks, but it's really, really cool, man. I'm happy.
It's home race.
Yep.
Applause to Toto though, dude. That's a really, really cool move.
Yep. Great karma, great deed.
All right, let's cap this thing off with our predictions for the weekend. Let's go race winner. I think We gotta keep stats for this moving forward. I'll go back and revisit it, and we'll keep a running tally every week.
Mhm.
We'll release our records on Twitter and Instagram. For me, I'm gonna throw a flyer. We're in the 4th race. We've only had 2 winners so far. I think we're gonna get a new face standing on top. I'm gonna go Valtteri Bottas with the W.
That was my take. I was gonna say it's Valtteri's week.
Okay, we can both do it. We can
Yeah,
both
there
do
you
it. I already
go.
placed the bet though.
I'm with you.
Placed the bet though. Big odds. Plus 900 or plus 600, I think,
Wow.
on Valtteri this weekend. If anybody wants to take a flyer.
There
That's
you go.
nice.
Yeah, I'm riding Max all the way this weekend.
All
I think
right.
he's taking it.
You know what I'll take? I'll just say, let's get a Sergio podium this week. Let's give him a 3rd place. I'd like that. I'll toss that
Okay.
in there too.
Absolutely.
Maybe the Red Bull
100%.
sandwich. Or
I'd
the
love
Red Bull 2 and 3 behind the Valtteri win. Either way, I'm saying Sergio podium. That's my bold take. He deserves it. Get him in there.
Okay.
it.
I think we're gonna get the same old on the podium, except with Valtteri at the top. Things can only be so crazy, and for Valtteri to win and Sergio to be a podium would just be absolutely wild.
I love it.
Yeah,
And
if
then
it's
my
raining,
favorite-
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna quickly add, if it is raining, I'm putting signs in at least top 4. I'm gonna throw my hot one out
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Whew.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite one we do. Somebody coming in top 6. I don't think Lando qualifies anymore. So a
Nope.
top 6 underdog. I guess this guy's like on the brink of being an underdog. I'm gonna go Fernando. He's like
Okay.
right on that
Ooh.
line where like,
like
he
that.
would be an underdog, but like he's not. It's not like I'm saying Kimmy, like Chip did a few weeks back, which was absolute heater.
That didn't work out. No, I
No,
didn't
it did
say
not work out.
Kimmy. I said Gio. I said
Giovinazzi. That's
It
hilarious.
was
Yeah,
Italy, bro. I thought the Italians were gonna crush it. They blew it.
Well, I'll go with Pierre. I think Pierre, he's been pretty silent, but like in the points this season, he's just getting better every race a little faster. Let's hear from Pierre a little bit this weekend.
Daniel's
Love it.
coming in top 6.
Bounce back.
After last week, he's pissed. You could tell he's angry. I mean, this is like for me, after this weekend, if Daniel doesn't seriously improve, I'm gonna start really getting worried. That's when I'm gonna start being like, okay, this could be a bust of a season, because he should be a guy that shouldn't be allowed in this conversation. Like Daniel Ricciardo should be one of those guys. It's like, no, you don't, he doesn't count. But right now he's just so up and down, and with what Lando's doing, there's no excuse. So he's got to figure it out. I think that this is his weekend top 6.
I like it. Let's get it. All right, boys. Anything else you want to mention before we hop off?
Seb's getting an upgrade this week. It was a big story that Lance
I saw
Stroll
that.
got the upgrades, even though Seb did a lot better last week. But came out that Seb's getting his aero upgrades this week. So fuck it. Let's see him get to Q3 again. I want to see him in that top 10 and just let the old man do some driving. I'd love to see it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We haven't talked about them that much this season, but kind of rightfully so. So hopefully they
Give us
become a
something to talk
topic of
about.
conversation.
Can we also just quickly talk about how exciting it is about Miami 2022?
Yeah.
Oh,
Will
I
Smith.
Huge announcement.
Miami 2022.
Huge announcement.
Welcome to Miami.
Second American race.
Yeah.
Welcome to Miami.
10-year contract. Monaco of the East. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be a weekend.
Yeah, it'll be the second best race probably of the year outside of Monaco. In my opinion.
I already
think
get
that's
an
gonna be
email with
awesome.
tickets drop. I'll be buying those things right away.
Oh yeah, pick
We'll
up your
be
pace.
there.
We'll be there. We'll do a podcast from the hotel.
I'm there.
They signed a 10-year deal. I'll be there a lot. Let's just say that. I will be there a lot. It might be a every year to do for me, just because this is my favorite thing in the world. So we're gonna try it out with Austin, figure out how to do the weekend right, and then next year everybody will be in Miami.
Awesome.
Love
Love
it.
it.
All right,
All
boys.
right. Pray for rain. Let's go.
Pray for rain. Pray for madness. Pray for a tight, chaotic race. Let's get it.